Good evening. You're watching Prime News Mak. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. With you tonight, I am Nelson Bahati. But first are the headlines.
Ugandans want President Museveni to focus on solving unemployment. That comes with technology. Internet has influenced human nature. Do parents still afford nursery education? Options have been developed.
Once again, thank you for joining us on Prime News Mak. These are our top stories tonight. President Yoweri Museveni has unveiled his 2021 manifesto in which he plans for the next 5 years. Ugandans have asked the president to develop a new approach to solve issues of unemployment. Yvonne Watera reports.
In this 292 pages booklet, President Museveni unveils his plans for the next 5 years. Among his priorities are creating jobs and wealth, delivering education and health, ensuring justice and equity, and protecting life and justice. Unemployment is another central chunk in Museveni's campaign this time around.
The situation is becoming worse, yet everyone has a fundamental right to employment. Everyone has a right to get employed, everyone has a right to get a job.
We have experienced economic growth, but this growth has not translated into sufficient jobs for the youth.
For the few who have a job like John Sekandi, they want government to come up with a holistic approach to address the problem of unemployment among youth.
There should be a holistic approach to attack these youth problems. For example, as I said earlier, the government can try and come up with some youth project. For example, they can try to come up, bring a car wash and give it to the youth so that at least they can try to make both ends meet.
Ugandan youth expect to hear more about job creation in the NRM manifesto. However, many worry that Museveni may not honor their promises after getting to office. According to the State of Uganda's Population Report 2020, Uganda has the world's youngest population below the age of 30. The country's youngest population is now the major target ahead of the 2020 election. Yvonne Watera, Prime News at Mak.
Thank you so much, Yvonne Watera, for that report. Blood donors have debunked the myth that blood donation exercise comes with healthy consequences to the donor's life. Donors have noted that donation is safer and healthy. Take a look at that story.
The misconceptions attached to blood donation have greatly hiked shortages of blood in many hospitals in Uganda. Blood donors have started a campaign to help blood banks in sensitizing and debunking the myth about the negative effects of blood donation.
As long as you're healthy, you know your health status, you do not have any problems with your health, then you should donate to save a life.
With the highest levels of blood shortage in Uganda, Franco Ariho, the blood donor recruit manager, Mengo Hospital Rotary Blood Bank, has denied the stereotypes attached to blood donation, which have stopped many potential blood donors to donate blood, leading to a sharp fall in blood donation.
It has no negative effect so long as the person has told us the truth, because there is a selection criteria. So long as you fall within the selection criteria, there are no negative effects.
Speaking to one Eric Chidega, a microbiology specialist who has donated 28 times, he affirms that blood donation comes with benefits. Eric vividly denies and condemns the misconceptions told about the blood donation exercise.
Actually, when you donate, you feel much more better. You reduce on the levels of excess blood in your body, giving your bone marrows and the liver chance to produce more blood. Ever since year to have been donating blood. This is my 28th time. Well, in my mind, what goes on is that you never know the day that I will be in need of blood.
According to Mengo Hospital Rotary Blood Bank, the target population for blood donation has shifted to schools. Nelson Bahati, Makerere University, Kampala.
You're watching Prime News at Mak. Let's take a short break and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back from that short break, and now let's flip the script to the business segment tonight. In our business segment, Farida Akol, our business reporter today, tells a story of a man who has gone through a roller coaster trying to set up his own business. Watch that story.
28-year-old Tempagala Arthur from Nansana shares with us how he started his business. He started by working for someone where he got experience and capital to start his own business.
Nisanga master wange yamanye ebyenviiri nemugamba njagala yiga nviiri sawe naye sina sente zensobola muwa nemugamba nja simula ngezo obugoye nga wenjigane ki enviiri kuba nali siinawo ntandikwa.
He advises those who want to start up their own business not to fear working for someone else as they gather capital to start up their own.
Oyinza okuba fayina omanye osala enviiri nga tolina capital tandika business eno salon basobola okukozesa nomala noyiga nofuna sente n'olukukola ki eyiyo.
Arthur is proud of his business because he is able to earn a daily income.
Salon eno teriko sente zegani n'ogenda kukola wezi mulimu n'okola ena mulimu n'okola ebiri mulimu n'okola omutwalo nga buli sente onosobola ogikola.
He feels saving is key for one to flourish in business.
Omuntu atandise business eno sikuwagira kulya sente pitiriva tezotakoze.
However, it is not always a money-making day since some customers do not pay after he has offered his services.
Mulimu obuzibu bwengufunamu lusi kasoma asobola okujja nga talina sente n'omusala ate tagambye nti sirina sente walinza omusala temuteesezza nagamba munange sente sirinawo nja kuleetera naye nga before nga tanaba kutula teyaggambye.
Amidst all the challenges, Sempagala urges his fellow youth not to be picky on jobs.
Abavubuka bannange kyembasaba temunyooma mirimu buli mulimu gw'olimu gutwale ng'omulimu.
Thanks, Farida Akol, for that report. Now, breaking news. President Donald Trump has lost election challenge lawsuit in Wisconsin, further cementing Biden win in presidential race. Details of that story shall follow in our subsequent bulletin. Now, we still go on with our top stories tonight. The evolution of technology over the years has been comprised of dynamic influences on human existence. Emmanuel Mungufeni unveils some of the influences brought by the internet. Watch that story.
The internet has become such an important part of modern life. It is difficult to imagine what the world would be without it. Among its numerous uses, the internet is highly credited for building careers and businesses. Mukamba Joseph, a fourth-year student pursuing software engineering, believes the internet has generally eased the way of life for its users.
Like when you go into the banks, you don't even need to, like if you want to communicate with a person, just maybe in the next maybe tell a machine. You don't need to go and maybe move around with it.
As for Mr. Walulia Wilson, the president of the Communications and Technology Department at Makerere, the internet is the best way for restructuring oneself in career path.
If you want to have a restructure of you, the internet is the best answer for you.
However, not everything about the internet is fine. There have been downsides of using the internet, such as cybercrime, fake news, and negative opinions shared. Joseph says social media is sometimes wasteful with time.
We people who use internet waste so much of the time just doing unproductive stuff, like Facebooking, Googling funny things, porn, watching those funny videos that are unproductive.
While Wilson believes that it is expensive to access and maintain, especially in Uganda.
You cannot access the internet with your PESA phone. You need to incur extra costs. Nowadays in Uganda we have OTT.
The internet has expanded rapidly since 1991. From a few websites back then, there are over 2 billion websites today connecting people globally. Mungufeni Emmanuel, Prime News Mak.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Mungufeni, for filing that report. In our profile segment tonight, we bring to you a researcher and an associate professor of early childhood education who has changed the narrative of early childhood in Uganda.
Our guest today is an associate professor of early childhood education based at Chambogo University in Uganda. He holds a Bachelor of Education from Makerere University from 1998 to 2001, a Master of Education from the same institution from 2002 to 2004 and a PhD in Early Childhood Education from Kenyatta University from 2007 to 2011. He has amassed experience in the area of early childhood education by first teaching in a primary school and now to lecturing and research. In 2019, he won a competitive ELMA grant of $335,000, which he used to improve the quality of early childhood education caregivers in Uganda. He is well published in widely recognized journals, and this has given him an opportunity to actively participate with state actors and civil society in promoting evidence-based policy analysis and advocacy. He has participated in consultancy work with the National Curriculum Development Center, UNESCO, Ministry of Education and Sports, Chambogo University, Plan International, the Aga Khan Foundation, and many others. Welcome, Professor Godfrey Eju.
I'm an associate professor for early childhood education. I work in Chambogo University. I actually teach research and the different components of early childhood for the various levels of students in the university. My main area of interest is the quality indicators and standards for research and programs in early childhood. This is motivated by the fact that we, coming from developing countries, have always copied or adopted best practices from the West and hoping that they will work in our own settings. But it has not been the case. Most times you find that the programs put there collapse or is just abandoned because they do not reflect the needs of the communities. So my main focus in my research is to find out what is appropriate or not appropriate and how can we get what is appropriate, what are the indicators we can get from the perspective of the community so that we can inbuild in the programs and make them work within the communities. So in my research, we have been able to get those quality indicators so that we use them to modify programs, we use them to actually develop other programs such that communities take on, and it helps the communities to appreciate, to keep children in school so that government does not actually lose from dropouts, and also the teachers are acceptable because they'll be implementing programs that the communities accept.
It is such an inspirational journey to those that have interest in academia. But now, the income inequalities in Uganda have left no option for some parents who cannot afford to take their children to nursery schools. New options have been developed to help preschool children access affordable learning. Elvis Lubanga reports.
Although Uganda is largely at peace with a stable and growing economy, life for most rural Ugandans remains a struggle, and this has left most children chronically undernourished because their parents cannot provide for them. Childcare in and outside the home has become very problematic, hence lab-based intervention with home learning centers for preschool children.
It came about because children, especially in rural communities, weren't accessing early learning that is affordable.
The project aimed at ensuring that school-ready children are able to join school when they are really prepared for it.
What happens in a home learning center?
In the morning, when children come to school, we welcome them. They make a cleaners, after cleaners, and then you call them. They make a circle. After making the circle, each activity has got a song.
According to Hajat Safina Mutumba, an officer with Ministry of Education, LABE empowers parents through its programs to fully participate in their children's growth.
LABE strengthens the provision of integrated ECD services within those communities by empowering the parents.
She advises the organization to look through the lacking areas for improvement.
When you look at the structures, much as we appreciate the work they are doing, the structures still need a little bit more to be improved.
Elvis Lubanga, Prime News at Mak.
We have reached at the end of our bulletin. Thank you so much for keeping with us on Prime News at Mak. You can follow us on our social media platforms, that is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We are at Prime News at Mak. Stay with us. Goodbye.